change what you have to. You're born who you are. You can change if you have to. You're born who you are. You must change 'cause you want to. It's time to focus on your dreams. Put them off so long, they're there but can't be seen. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. Let's step up our game a bit and use those things we quit, and laugh and smile and say we're lucky to be alive. It's time to start to do those things. The goals you set, the ones you call your dreams. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. So you're bringing it, the start of the year. You know you got nothing but cheer. Your family and your friends, they are so proud of you. It's time to start to do those things. The goals you set, the ones you call your dreams. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. You're born who you are. You change what you have to. You're born who you are. You can change if you have to. You're born who you are. You must change 'cause you want to. It's time to focus on your dreams. Put them off so long, they're there but can't be seen. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. Let's step up our game a bit and use those things we quit, and laugh and smile and say we're lucky to be alive. It's time to start to do those things. The goals you set, the ones you call your dreams. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. So you're bringing it, the start of the year. You know you got nothing but cheer. Your family and your friends, they are so proud of you. It's time to start to do those things. The goals you set, the ones you call your dreams. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive. change what you have to. You're born who you are. You can change if you have to. You're born who you are. You must change 'cause you want to. It's time to focus on your dreams. Put them off so long, they're there but can't be seen. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Lori Carter, and on behalf of the pastor and our board of trustees, welcome to the Andrew Jackson Davis Educational Building for our Sunday service. At this time, we just want to remind everyone that it is mandatory to wear masks during our services. Those who are speaking may choose not to wear one so you can hear us better. We also do not allow personal recordings of this or other services. We now ask you to turn off your cell phones at this time. Thank you. To begin our service, G.L. Lewis will light 3 candles, symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit. Thank you, Gia. Please rise as you are able for the invocation. Infinite Spirit, I pray that today and the rest of our time on this earth plane and beyond be a time of spiritual renaissance and a period of enlightenment that will heighten values and help everyone realize their true purpose in life. I pray for peace of all that is and for love and light. Amen. Please be seated. Located in the bulletin that you should have received when you came in are our Declaration of Principles. Please join with me in reciting these principles together. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm that the moral responsibility of the individual and that he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys or disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. Now, the healing prayer is also in the bulletin, and please recite this with me. Prayer for spiritual healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. So now, for those of you who wish to receive a spiritual healing, you can please, this will be taking place over here to my left. And we actually have 2 healers today that are going to be assisting with this. And please go to the next available healer if that is what you would wish to do. Healers, just so you're aware, are sanitizing their hands after each healing in case you have concerns. While the healers work, the rest of us will join in a guided meditation led by myself. So if you haven't done so already, clear your lap. Meld into your chair and take a deep breath in and release all the tension from the day, from the week. If you haven't done so already, allow your eyelids to softly close. Breathe in and release. Breathe in the light of all that is and exhale white golden light about you. Feel your body relax further, deeper into the oneness of all that is. Breathe in and release. My body is relaxed and receptive. Drift to a place of peacefulness, a place just for you, a place you can let everything go. Notice your breath slowing. A calmness washes over your body. You sit and feel the four winds. In the south, a magnificent ray of blue appears and reaches as far as you can see. Allow the color to surround your being like a shield that serves as protection. The protection against physical and spiritual peril. Spiritually, the color restores your faith in all that is. It brings peace, harmony, and balance. As a warrior, the color morphs to red and represents courage and strength that brings passion and fire. A sword may appear in your mind's eye, and it will enable you to cut the cords that bind you to people, places, and things that no longer resonate. I am here for a purpose, and my life is meaningful. A yellow ray of light appears. It assists with freeing you and loved ones from addictions. Joy, laughter, and light, wisdom, insight, inspiration, and intuition are all associated with this color. Spiritually, it connects you to your higher self and shows you the way when decisions must be made. It brings understanding to illuminate your path in life, bringing enlightenment, health, and wealth. I breathe in and feel the joy, allowing it to radiate from my heart. The third ray of light is pink, and with it comes love. Feel your heart center expand. It brings compassion, forgiveness, mercy, and understanding. Pink is associated with pleasure, creativity, tenderness, and compassion. It repairs relationships and brings new friends. I have unconditional love for all that exists, all that I encounter from moment to moment. In the west, a ray of white appears and spreads to all that is. It brings harmony, purity, and guidance. Spiritually, it assists with your life's purpose and replaces feelings of discouragement with fulfillment. White is associated with protection, intuition, clarity, and discipline. The trumpet may appear in your mind's eye to guide you to follow your higher path. The color gives you the discipline and guidance to take the first steps, followed by clarity to follow that path. I say goodbye to things in my life that slow my spiritual growth. To the east, a ray of green appears. It heals the body, mind, soul, and spirit. Green is associated with seeing. Spiritually, it mends broken spirits and helps you to accept the truth. It brings knowledge and encourages you to communicate by sharing your inner wisdom, to heal with thoughts, words, and creativity. A vial of balm and an arrow will alert you to the aspects of the color. I am the all-seeing eye of God. The sixth ray of light includes purple with gold and appears in the north. It is associated with peace. It resolves issues in personal, social, and professional relationships to create harmony. Spiritually, it assists you to let go of resentment, to renew hope in the hearts of those who have lost faith. It also manifests divine justice. The color helps you to release your fears and anger, letting go of the past. It is wisdom, light, understanding. It brings inner peace and transformation. You may see an open hand with a flame to nudge you on your way. I find myself growing in wisdom and courage. I respond to others with compassion. The final ray is violet, and it represents freedom. The silver violet flame assists with purifying the body, mind, and soul to heal emotions and negative beliefs. It helps you to move on with your life, bringing freedom and forgiveness for yourself and others. It is associated with forgiveness, mercy, cleansing, and freedom. I live beyond the traps of cause and space. I am free. I am supremely blessed. Now you see all the light swirl about. Breathe in all the rays of lights and allow them to be. Suddenly on the horizon, an orb of light appears. It slowly approaches and then quickly spans the distance and lands before you. You see the face of a loved one who has left this earth plane. You hug and have that conversation you always wanted to. I will be silent just for a couple of minutes here. It is now time to say goodbye to your loved one. You embrace for one last hug. So the healing white light is always within us. And let's work together to heal all that is. Slowly take a breath in and release it to Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp. Take another breath in and release it to the state of Florida. Another breath in and release it to the United States of America. Another breath in and release it to the world. And finally take another breath in and release that healing white light to the universe. Again, know that this healing white light is always within. All we have to do is call upon it and ask for the healing. So now feel the chair in which you sit. Become aware of your extremities, moving your hands and feet. Breathe in and exhale, opening your eyes when you're ready. We'd like to thank our healers for sharing their gift of healing. We had the Reverend Stephen Hermann and the Reverend Dr. Phil DeLong. If you have received a healing resulting in a correction or improvement, please complete the yellow cards that looks like this. It's over in the back on the table there. And give it to us, or you can actually mail it to us as well. We'll just wait just one moment. Thank you. So our speaker today is the Reverend Stephen Hermann. Reverend Hermann has been a member of this organization for many, many years. And for years, he visited us from Scotland, where he did a lot of things.
I was living in New Zealand, not Scotland.
Oh, pardon me. I don't know why I was thinking Scotland. But, okay, New Zealand might be around there. No? Hey, I was really great at geography. What can I say? And so he used to visit us from New Zealand for many, many years. But he's coming to us now from California. He visits yearly to share his gifts of mediumship and teaching, and is offering numerous workshops during his visit. A former research medium for the University of Virginia, his evidential mediumship has been featured in 8 books, including a bestseller published in Macedonia. It was the Macedonia that had me going seriously. His mediumship has been documented by the Associated Press and other news media. He is the author of Mediumship Mastery, The Mechanics of Receiving Spirit Communication, The Ultimate Guide. Excellent book. Have it, read it several times, and it is very awesome to have him back. So please welcome the Reverend Stephen Hermann.
Oh, good morning. So I'm really glad to be here. How many of you are happy to be here? Now, I remember last year, I was in the UK in February teaching, and all these people started coming back to the UK. They go to these pubs, and everyone was getting infected with the virus. And then I came to Cassadaga, and it was kind of normal. And over the course of this last March, a couple of weeks that I was here, it slowly started to change. You know, you'd have these workshops, and no one would show up because everyone, we see the pandemic started. So what's really wonderful is that we're having these services again. Isn't that great? Because we have the energy. And it's only going to get better, too. And, we had the hands-on healing. Not, when I came here, I wasn't sure, well, are we going to have healing? Hands-on healing, just because of the whole virus type of situation. So I'm really happy that that's taking place. Not that we want anyone, something bad to happen or someone to get infected, but it's really, really important when it comes to spiritualism, because the healing aspect of it is really what this is all about. And of course, I was talking in Lyceum earlier. We had the Lyceum lecture, which I did, and we were talking about March 31st. And what's March 31st? It's the anniversary of the spiritualist movement that literally is spread all over this planet. And there's a lot of different gifts of the spirit. And so usually when people think of mediumship, they think about, I'm going to drive to Cassadaga, to Spooksville, and I'm going to have a session with a medium. Does anyone think about that? And you sit down, and the medium says, I'm seeing a man with a gold tooth you're going to meet. And watch out, he's married, his wife's psychotic, there's going to be all these problems. You're going to eat lasagna next Wednesday night. How many of you have ever had a session like that? That's not what mediumship is about, is it? Now, if I told you that you were going to eat spaghetti or lasagna, would that substantially improve your life? No, it wouldn't, would it? Maybe in some cases, but probably in most cases it wouldn't. And we know that the spirit world, it's not in some far removed place. The spirit world is literally all around us. And you don't become a spirit. In one sense, you could say you're part of the spirit world now. Why? Because you have a subtle body. You have a spirit body. It's simultaneously you inhabit the spirit body because it interpenetrates this temporary physical vehicle that we function through. Now, if I was really psychic, I could make a prediction about all of you. You might not like the prediction. You're all going to kick the bucket. And hopefully, not this weekend, Thursday, but all of us, we're all going to make that transition to the spirit world. Spiritualism, if someone studies it, if they get into it, they investigate it. I mean, just yesterday I was doing some sessions with people. I had these two elderly ladies. They came from, I know one of them was Sarasota, the other was somewhere in that area. And one of the communicators, I felt like I was doing an operation, that I was a physician. And I was aware whoever was blending his mind, his energy with me, was someone who worked as a doctor. They're like, they didn't know what I was talking about, this one woman. Now, as it progressed, this guy was the father of her son's wife. And I don't think she got along with her daughter-in-law very well. So we have people connected in the spirit world who may come through a medium who aren't necessarily the 4 or the 7 people that we would expect to come through. Your aunt comes through from the spirit world and you literally hated the lady's guts. I had a lady here, I remember this, I was in Harmony Hall. They used to put me up, and I've been coming here over 30 years. I used to live in Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm not from Scotland. I don't know. And I don't have a funny accent. Well, maybe I do have a funny accent. Depends where I am. But anyway, so I'm in Harmony Hall. I'm doing sessions. This lady shows up for a session, and I'm working with her. Oh my gosh, that's my 4th husband's mother. And I was going, this is like a half-hour session. Oh my gosh, that's my 2nd husband's grandmother. And she knew all of, this lady had been married 4 or 5 times, hopefully. Some of you haven't had that experience. Now, I don't know if she arsenicked her husbands, they're buried in the back or what. But this lady, but she knew all of these people. Now, I'll tell you this, so often someone will come, and I've had this happen many times, just receiving sessions from you, and I think, who the heck are they talking about? And I don't know my family that well, just, it's not that close, so I never knew a lot, pretty much all my grandparents, what to speak of all their brothers and sisters. And especially younger generation. Now, this is also in Harmony. I remember a mother and daughter come many years ago, probably a good 30 years ago, but I remember this because it's an antidote. It's very good for teaching. So, the mother had the session, and of course she understood people. She related to it. She's out on the porch waiting, and I was working with the daughter individually. And she understood it, but there's a good 2 or 3 of the people coming in. Because oftentimes you'll have half dozen people come through. Because they try to cram as many people on the phone call as possible. And this daughter, who's younger, she just didn't know a couple of the people. So I go, let's go ask your mom. And the mom said, oh my gosh, that's your grandfather. He was exactly like that. And that other lady, that was your aunt, She was a bit crazy, but she was really sweet. And, she understood all the information. Now, why I'm saying this is that many times the people who are around you, helping you in your life, they're not necessarily the individuals. You may not have had a relationship with them. You may not have known them very well. They may have passed over to the spirit dimension way before you took physical birth. But then they're connected to you. Sometimes they're just acquainted with you. It's someone you casually knew. Or maybe you didn't know. I had this once, a couple of times I've had situations during a session. I remember working with this one person once, not here in Cassadaga, but somewhere else. And, I was describing someone like a grandfather. Now, it turned out that it was the grandfather related to someone they worked with, who they were acquainted with. They didn't really know the person. And this colleague was very, very, very depressed, despondent, all these issues going on. Now, it's all about healing. Why are the spirit people motivated to come through? It's not to tell you what you're going to eat for dinner next week. Or what's going on? The man I'm having an affair with, is he still involved with his wife? When's he going to leave, her for me? This is what people ask. I want to know when my husband's going to die. I've had people demand that. And that's not what this is about. Sometimes, someone doesn't know any better. They want a prediction. It's not that spirit cannot predict the future, but they're busybodies. They're stalking you. They're aware of what's going on in your life in a good way. And thank God that they're around us, because they are the hands of God. Actually, each one of us, we're all the hands of God. Because again, it's not like you become a spirit. You're a spirit now. And maybe they were completely ignorant and lacked awareness of their spirituality when they were here. So they kick the bucket, right? They make the transition to the spirit world. They're in their subtle body. And it's wonderful being in your subtle body. Now, this physical body we're in, every 7 years, biologically, it changes. All the molecules. Who understands that physiologically, right? You study this. All the molecules, all the cells change. It's like a constant state of flux. And yet the consciousness, who we are, soul-wise, stays the same, but the body ages. You can pick up diseases. You could have accidents. No matter what you do, it's not eventually, like if 100 years from now, we're going to be in the spirit world, this type of thing. And yet, when you go to the spirit world, you're in the subtle body. So if you want to look like you're 30 or 25, you can. Can you imagine that? And you vibrate, you radiate this light. And if you put emphasis and energy while you're here in this physical world into your spirituality, you vibrate at a very high frequency when you go over there. All these different levels of spirit. In my Father's house are many mansions. So Jesus is talking about these different levels, and we understand there's these different dimensions. It's based on your spirituality. I know as a medium, maybe I'm bringing through the grandmother. She's a really nice lady. She's not that advanced spiritually. And then you have some guide that comes in. Now, mentally, because I'm experiencing, when I receive communications, you're channeling spirit, you can feel this higher frequency energy. It's very refined. Just like if you're around someone here in this physical world who's very developed spiritually, that energy field around them reflects that spirituality, doesn't it? Now you can just imagine, you take someone like a Mother Teresa and put them side by side with someone who's just really into a lot of stuff that's really negative and not really evolved, really materialistic, maybe just very negative toward others and hurts others. There's going to be a completely different quality to their energy field, isn't there? It's like compare and contrast. We could blindfold you, have a psychic experiment. You could sense the difference. I remember years ago I was hitchhiking, this is in Massachusetts, and this lady picked me up. She goes, I always go to Lake Pleasant Spiritualist Camp, which wasn't that far from where I lived, where I got into spiritualism many decades ago. And whenever I look at people, because she'd pick up hitchhikers, this is like in the hippie era, I look at their aura, and then I look at their aura and decide which ones to pick up, which is probably a very good thing. You know, someone works in law enforcement. Does anyone work in law enforcement here, have friends who are cops? Well, you develop, because you're always questioning people, interviewing them, right? And you develop this sixth sense, right? This intuitive sense of where people are coming from. You know, and the spirit people, it's the same type of thing. They communicate with us mind to mind, and it's all about healing. So they're not concerned with your dinner so much, unless you had some kind of nutritional deficiency. What they're more concerned about is imparting the vibration of love to you and helping you in terms of your own spiritual growth. So we know that the spirit world is all around us, but it's not like they're following you around every single moment. You know, you're taking a shower and they're there with you. It's not the way it works. That just wouldn't be good. But if you're having some type of problem in your own physical plane life, even though in one sense they may seemingly be so far away, there is an energetic and an emotional connection that's there with you. So literally, in the speed of thought, they can be there. Can you imagine that? And some of you have probably, been in airplanes, or you look up, the airplane goes by and then you hear the sound, right? Faster than the speed of sound. You've got, of course, the speed of light, right? We can look out, we see all these stars, there are galaxies so far away, but we're seeing things in the past because the light takes so long, speed of light, to reach our limited material eyes that are complete. I mean, as wonderful as our 5 physical senses are, they're completely limited. So the speed of sound's pretty fast. The speed of light's incredibly quick. But the speed of thought is instantaneous. So if you're having an issue, you pray, you put out the thought that you need help. The ministry of angels, God sends those angels to work with us. And your loved ones, they're not always the ones who are qualified to work in an angelic sense. They're not necessarily that evolved. They're not necessarily skilled with imparting healing. So sometimes when you need help, the ones who are going to be directed to you from the world of the spirit, they're going to be the ones who are appropriate for the task. We have the hands-on healing. Now, how many of you are clairvoyant here? How many of you can see energy, can see colors? And you look at someone and say, my God, look at the colors around that person. Now, how many of you can see the spirit people? Now, if you look at me right now, you'd probably be aware of my energy field. But if you watch, you should try this sometime. When they're working with the healing at one of these services on Wednesday or Sunday or other times, try to put yourself in that meditative state and tune in. Why? Because there's personalities who are working with the healers. Now, you may not necessarily see some guy who's a doctor in a white outfit. You might not see this Native American medicine person imparting the healing through the healing medium. But I can guarantee you, just through clairsentience, you'll feel the power, and you may see the color, right? The energies. I mean, if you go back in spiritualism, in some schools of thought, they would work with different rays, right, related to different types of healing, different colors, this type of thing. And actually, when we're working with healing, based on these particular needs, the particular conditions of the recipient of the healing, you're going to have a different quality of energy that's going to work through you. I get a lot of people who've practiced Reiki, and which is really wonderful. It's hands-on healing, spiritual healing. We work with the Reiki energy. Oh, it feels this way. You can feel it. You get initiated in all this. Now, there's different types of energies, different ways in which the spirits can work based on the need of the recipient. And we certainly have different specialists in the spirit world who work with individuals. I mean, for example, let's just say you had an issue with your kidney. Well, here in the physical world, you might go to the general practitioner, and it may be beyond the scope of their practice, so they send you a specialist who focuses on this. Maybe even other practitioners who might assist. And it's the same thing with healing mediumship. We have certain healers in the spirit world, and we know that if someone works as a spirit healer or doctor, what was their background? Well, they were involved in the healing when they were here. And of course, there's different helpers related to healing are going to step in. And I know as a medium, if you're working with healing, well, you may have a certain person you're working with. And the helpers that come in predominantly, because they're working through your energy field, you'll feel the entire vibration shift. And all of you have, to some extent, mediumistic type of ability. You know, Jesus taught, greater things than you can do. Isn't this what he said? How many of you really believe that? Because this is what the gifts of the Spirit are about. It's not about just coming to a spiritualist service and getting a message or reading some speculation philosophically in a book. It's really something where you want to be able to take all of which is presented here philosophically, but on a practical type of level, and be able to apply it within your own lives. And you think that healing means that you have to receive a healing from someone by sitting in a chair. Actually, every one of you has the ability to work with healing. What does it really take? It has to do with your own intention, right? If you're motivated, I mean, and it might just start on a personal level. You know, someone in your family or maybe close to you, or even just some creepy person at work and you don't even like the person and they're having problems. And if you pray for that person, right? Because thoughts are things. And every one of us, we're spirit, right? We have love in our hearts. So if you extend that out to other people, it will literally change that person for the better, transform that person. Now, healing's not just about fixing your body, because again, it's going to fall apart, right? There's disease, there's things just happen, and then we kick the bucket. But what healing's, the big thing with healing, the most important aspect about it, is to help us to connect with who we are on a soul level, because we're being touched by the light of God. And the higher spirits, that's what they're really involved with trying to accomplish. You know, someone goes to Cassadaga. I went from one medium to the next. I mean, you get this like medium of the month club, like those. They used to have these record clubs you join. They send you a different thing. There's people like that with mediums. I had a student like that in Massachusetts. I mean, if there was a medium that she'd never had a session with, 75 miles away, she'd drive to see the person. I mean, her husband was literally, there's conflict because she was spending so much money on this stuff. And she'd check out all these different mediums. So, of course, if you go to a medium, it's not necessarily going to be what you want to receive. I want to know when this is going to happen. And they have this whole shopping list of people they want to hear from and maybe issues they want addressed. But when you go for a session with a medium, the higher spirits who guide you, right? Higher teachers who work with you, who are aware of where you're at in the present, they're the ones who set the agenda. And the agenda may be completely different than what you want to hear. Has anyone had a really lousy session with a medium? Who's had a lousy session with a medium? No one's raising their hand. Well, that's a good thing. But I mean, sometimes someone will go to a medium, and I'm sure this happens all the time for those of you here in Cassadaga who work as mediums, and someone just doesn't like what comes through. I remember I was up in Maine working at the spiritualist camp many years ago, and this lady came up to me. She says, 2 years ago, I went to a group session with you. I was with my friends, and my aunt came through. And I was, okay. I didn't like anything you said. It's the worst reading I ever had. And then I was driving back. Oh, my friend says, that's the same stuff that we've been trying to tell you. So even though it's the worst reading I ever had, it was actually the best because you told me what I needed to hear. Now, this is 2 years before or something. Now, why I'm saying that is that what we need to hear oftentimes can be completely different than what we want to hear. Why? Because we only see things from a very limited perspective. We don't necessarily see the full picture. Sometimes someone will come, well, I want to receive healing. Please, God, heal my husband of, maybe let's say as a cancer. And the husband passes over. Oh my gosh, the healing didn't work. But I'll tell you this, every single time you pray for someone else, any time you genuinely and sincerely extend love from your heart, it touches that soul. Whether the person is, within your physical proximity or very, very distant. I remember years ago, I used to do a lot of work in Iceland, and I was up near the Arctic Circle. It's like this fishing village. So this one lady where I was staying, she was putting me up. She worked for like these whale watches, right? So she'd take these people out. And so I was doing some type of mediumship program that night. I was going, well, you should have your boss go, because she's talking about, where she worked. They take these tourists out and stuff. And she goes, well, the owner, he hates mediums. He wouldn't come. I go, well, why does he hate mediums? And she told me, she related this story, I guess in his family, there had been some relative of his going back, generationally, who had had some type of, physical condition. So they went to some Icelandic medium, and, the relative ended up passing over. Like, the healing, physically, I guess the medium wasn't able to somehow, the healing didn't happen the way they wanted it to happen. Now, I don't know all the particulars, what the medium did or what the medium said, but I just explained, that's not what it's about. That's something, the larger picture on a soul type of level, what a person actually needs to receive, it can be very, very, very different. And just realize that when we go through different challenges or hardships, it could be on a professional level, within your own personal life, why are those situations placed in your life? And on a metaphysical type of level, how do we actually respond to those types of situations? And really, some of the most unfortunate things that can happen in your life oftentimes can be the greatest blessing, in the sense that whatever type of pain or trauma you go through can actually help you get more in touch with yourself, turn more toward God, and ultimately be able to extend more loving vibration to those around you. The best healers, the most effective instruments for God's healing, they've literally been through hell. I just had this one couple, just actually, it was 2 days ago, come to me for a session. They're young, they're friends of this guy and this and a woman, and I guess the guy is in and out of treatment. Is in recovery. I didn't know this or anything, but a lot of the people coming through from Spirit had a lot of substance abuse background, who were all connected to this guy. And this guy was obviously still going through this. And it's very, very, very hard. He's very, very positive, really interested in spiritualism, really very receptive to what's, having a reading, and probably would go to every single medium here if he could afford it. But it was great. Now, what do you think's going to happen with this guy? He's in his early 30s, but what he's gone through, all the hardships, probably a lot of really making wrong decisions, lifestyle choices, patterns of thinking that are dysfunctional and disharmonious. The doorway to reformation is never closed on someone. Say, you could be like the lowest possible level, go through the most hellish situations, and maybe just be really not so evolved. And that experience that you've been through, it's only going to help you understand where others are at, right? Have empathy for others. How can you really help someone if you really haven't been in their shoes before, so to speak? So we see, in indigenous cultures, oftentimes, right, the person who works with healing, there's someone who's been wounded, right? They've been hurt the most. So all of you have probably had, personal trauma. Maybe you've been married 4 or 5 times. Hopefully not. But, if you go through even being divorced once, it's really hellish, isn't it? People end up wanting to kill their former spouse in some cases, which is not a good thing. But it's, or maybe even, in some cases people are so distraught they want to take their own lives. And I know as a medium, you're dealing with people here who are going through tragedy. It's very regular. It's not just this fortune-telling, surface type of reading. They get into deep subject matter. And you get people coming in from spirit. Maybe they did take their own life, and they regret what they did. You know, they were just so mentally in distress with the situation, they didn't see any way out. And they go to the spirit world. And yeah, they have to, take responsibility for things. But there is so much acceptance and love. God loves us, even though it's not that our mistakes are good or we should do things that are bad or sinful, so to speak, right? Missing the mark, right? We don't want to do things that are disharmonious with the laws of the Spirit. But despite that, as children, we're going to goof up. But you go to the spirit world, you receive healing. So there's wisdom that is going to be conveyed when you go to a medium if you're open to it. Some mediums, I've got your mother here. She's got flowers for you, and it's so beautiful. But what if your mom had a lot of problems and really wasn't such a nice person? What's going to happen to her? She's going to have to face those aspects of how she was, and she's going to have to improve those things. And sometimes we talk about therapy, we have like family therapy here in this physical world, or, you have relationship counseling. You get the therapist works with all the parties involved because it's all interrelated. So sometimes the session with a medium in terms of healing, it's more for the individual in the spirit world. This is the truth. It's not just they'll talk about stuff that they did that wasn't so good on a very deep level. It's like therapy. And it may not be something which is necessarily seemingly positive as part of the treatment that needs to take place. But you go to the spirit world, and if you need the 50 years of psychotherapy and you didn't get it here, there are very skilled people there, I can assure you. All these prominent psychologists and psychiatric people. And they know how to work with people. And they're motivated by love. And I can guarantee you, there's some very good mediums here in this camp. Very sincere mediums. Who they spend years studying spiritualism, being part of the curriculum, the educational program here in this camp. And to go through all that, there's a lot of work. Obviously, it's a good thing if someone has the right motivation. Like attracts like. They attract people in the spirit world. So the spirit world, they will empower an individual, like many of the mediums here in this camp, to work with people and to help people. So, you go to a medium, they've figured things out from the spirit world, what you need to hear. And they really prioritize what you need to hear, but also what's going to help the spirits grow. Mediumship, the purpose of mediumship, it's not just to prove survival. This is what sometimes people dogmatically say, I have to prove life after death. Well, that's part of it. But more importantly, because life after death is a given, right? We're eternal spirit souls. Is how can we improve our lives in the present? How can we grow closer to God in the present in our own physical lives? And even beyond that, how can we be utilized as God's instrument to help others? So some of you might think, I'm not a healer, I can't do this stuff. Yeah, you all have spiritual gifts. You don't have to get up behind a chair and work with people. You have to pray for others. Work with the healing. And you don't have to go up and put your hands on people either. It's the light that you connect with that's going to work through your energy field and actually touch those around and about you. So if you're new to Cassadaga, I really encourage you to come to this place. If you have a lot of money, go to every single medium at the camp. They'll be very happy. But investigate this stuff. Be skeptical about this stuff. Test the spirits. Test the mediums. And there's a lot of people here in this camp that are very good mediums that teach very good classes on all different aspects of this. There's visiting people like myself that come through. Learn as much as you can about this, and go to the bookstore and buy lots of books too, same plug-in place. But the more you study this, you're going to get into it, and you're going to get addicted in a good way. It's not like substances that cause a lot of problems in your life. With spiritualism, as an addiction, it's a very, 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 very healthy involvement. And I know that as you put energy into this, your loved ones, all of those who hold you and continue to hold you dear in their hearts, it gives them the opportunity to grow with you and to connect with you more directly. So God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Reverend Steve, for those words and your experiences. I always love to hear that. And I have to say, I've known Reverend Stephen Hermann for like 12 years, and he's a fabulous, great guy, and I've always known he's from New Zealand. So I truly believe...
Massachusetts. But I used to live in New Zealand.
But I truly believe he is going to Scotland, and I'm going to say by August. So thank you so much for those words. So happy to see you. Alrighty, where are we at now? All right, there is a prosperity basket in the back. It's actually a bowl. We thank you in advance for your donations. And our live stream viewers may visit our website at cassadaga.org and click the donate button. We thank you in advance for your generosity, and I'd like to just have a little prayer for that. Infinite Spirit, we thank you for the blessings given today. Please assist with the organization in using these monies for our highest and best. We ask that the gifts given today be returned tenfold. Amen. Announcements. Next Wednesday, March 17th, our message bearer for our demonstration of spirit service will be the Reverend Stephen Hermann. Next Sunday, we have a special day. It's March 21st. And the speaker will be Darlene McCormick, and she will be receiving her mediumship and healing papers. Exciting times, and there's cake. Every Sunday we have Adult Lyceum, also known as Sunday School. It's from 9:30 to 10:15 here in the Andrew Jackson Davis Educational Building. Next Sunday, our speaker will be Lillian Carroll. To participate in absentee healing, please print the first name and the first initial of the last name of a loved one or even a pet in our healing book, which is at the back table. We also have one in our welcome center there. And every Thursday, a healing meditation circle is held from 11 to noon here in the Andrew Jackson Davis building. Healing is sent to those on the absentee healing list. All are welcome to attend this service. And actually, the Reverend Dr. Phil DeLong over there is the person who facilitates that. At the entrance, we have our Sunday bulletin and our activities page. The Sunday bulletin is actually yellow. Activities page is green. Please take those home with you. They will help you into letting you know what's going on here in the camp. And let's see what else. We have some other announcements today. Today we have Reverend Dr. Lewis Gates, Crystals and Healing Stones from 2 to 4 p.m., $25 in the Slater House, which is up on Chauncey Street. Reverend Steve Hermann, Monday, March 15th, 7 to 9 p.m., Mediumship Mastery, that's $25. And that will be held in the Andrew Jackson Davis building here. Then on Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m., $25 as well, is Messages from Beyond, Seance Message Circle with Reverend Steve Hermann. And that is being held here in the Andrew Jackson Davis building, in case I didn't say that. Then we have a natural law series, which is in person and via Zoom. It's $25 per class. And I believe it's the Reverend Diane Davis who is facilitating this. And it will be this Saturday, March 20th, again. And finally, Animal Totem Symbols and Other Signs will be Sunday, March 21st from 2 to 4 p.m., $25 here in the Andrew Jackson Davis building. And I am the presenter, Lori Carter. All right, I think that could be about it for our announcements. As always, check our website, cassadaga.org, to see what's actually going on and see if there might be something that pops up that's not on the list, or if some things change as well. At this time, we'd like to thank our live stream viewers for joining us today. We look forward to spending time with you all again. Thank you so much.